Nottingham Rainforest is set to expand as there are strong rumours that a deal has been done and agreed for Nino. Welcome to your Forest transfer news in November. Good afternoon, everybody. Hope you're well and welcome to your latest Nottingham Forest transfer news. In today's video, we're going to tell you everything you need to know about Nino. How close is this deal? And should you believe the rumors that are circulating all over the place about it? Before we get started, hit that like button, subscribe if you're new, and let's jump into this. All right, before we start talking about Nino, let's talk about why. That, I think, is the most important question to this, because yes, recruitment starts to get done before a transfer window opens. That's pretty basic. That's pretty normal. But do Forest really need another centre back with the amount we've currently got? Marilla, Omobamidele, who we haven't even seen, Felipe, Bolly, Worrell, McKenna, and there's probably another 7 I can't think of off the top of my head. And now this is the one that's looking like it's the most done. So this potentially will happen at the end of his contract. Now, with Nino, he will be playing tonight in the Libertadores final. So if you want to check him out and see him in first person, you're more than welcome to do that. If you want to watch along for it, let me know in the comments down below. But how much is he worth? He's worth 7 million euros. That's his market value. So he's not going to be that expensive. He's right-footed centre-back, 26 years old. And captain as well, so comes with leadership qualities. Is he the next Murillo? Is he the right-sided Murillo, as a few people are calling him? The answer to that is actually probably yes. Even though I would say, from what I've seen of him, he's more a Bolly-style player, a solid unit, a solid brick, who's actually quite dangerous in the box from corners and dead balls, gets a header in, scraps a shot in, etc. But overall, he is a solid player and brings leadership. But the question still stands is why? Because we are severely lacking in attacking force right now. And you would have thought that the priority for Forest would have been maybe another striker, another couple of wingers, etc. So that, for me, is a question that needs to be answered. So speculating, you would have to say that maybe Bolly is coming towards the end of his contract. Maybe McKenna as well, his contract is up, he'll be leaving, and who knows what's going to happen with Joe Worrell. That is then making us very thin. And then Felipe, man, the guy who seems to train every day but never makes it to a game day, is his time up at Forest? So when you look at it from that perspective, maybe there is some logic behind it and you can see why they're looking to recruit another centre back. But with Omobamidele still not even crossing the white line at the City ground, is this the priority? What do you guys think? But let's get into Nino and let me show you some of his stats. Okay, so it's been a while since we've had to do some stats, but the captain from Fluminense, Nino, 26 years old. His real strengths are ball control, ground duels 1 and aerial duels 1 as well. As I mentioned, he's a bit of a unit. You can see from his heat map, he spends most of his time on the right side of defense. So again, this points to the thing I was talking about, is maybe Bolly not the long-term future at Nottingham Forest, despite how good he currently is. And then when you have a look at his stats, this is for this season, already played 11 games. He's got 1 goal. That is what it is from a defender. But this is defensive stats I want to show you guys. Clearances per game, 3.3. Ball recoveries per game, 5.4. These are all really good stats. Tackles per game, only 0.6. And this, as always, let me just caveat it by saying this is in the Brazilian league. But we have seen this transformation from South America across to Europe with the likes of Murillo. So it's not a stretch to think he can make the move. Now, the other point that always gets raised with Brazilian players is why is it taking them so long to be moved across to a European league? Because usually the trend is with Brazilian players, if they get to 21, then they are past their sell by best, if you like, and they stay in Brazil, usually till the end of the career. Scarpa would potentially be an example of that. So at 26, he is past the age that usually the Brazilian teams or the Brazilian the teams there would look to sell on and cash in on him. So that question needs to be addressed. But I want to show you now how he compares to Bolly. I think Bolly would be a good comparison. And you can see his stats are very, very similar. Yes, it's across different leagues. They pretty much match up in all areas, be it attack, creativity, technicality, tackling. But Bolly just has him by a few. Well, quite a bit actually, 73 to 87 in actual defense. So Bolly overall would still on paper be a better defender. But bringing him in may help with the cohesion with Murillo. Obviously, there would be no language barrier. And bringing him in for probably a few million isn't going to be that much of a risk. But what do you guys think of him? Do you want a bit more Nottingham Rainforest or not? Let me know in the comments down below. Okay, so let's talk about the deal itself and how serious is this? Well, I'll start off the bat and say I haven't actually spoken to anyone from our usual sources, so I cannot confirm or deny how strong these rumors actually are. But the sources reporting it are very strong, and I do give a couple of them decent credibility. And when you look at his contract, for example, it expires December 31st, 2024. So there's only about a year left on it. So it would be good for them to move him to get some money before they let his contract run out, even if it would be for a few million. But it's nothing that I can confirm to you guys yet. Unfortunately, I just haven't had the time to make the calls. But I think this is something that Forest are definitely looking at. With our recruitment team out in South America, with our scouting network being so strong there, it will make sense to bring in a few more Brazilians or Argentinians or South Americans in general over this next transfer window. But I still would say the priority in January has to be attacking players. That's my personal opinion on it. I just think we're still lacking in that department. But would I go for Nino? Yes, I would, because he will bring some cohesion to the likes of Murillo, Danilo, all the other Brazilians we've got. And I just like Brazilian footballers, man. They've always just got something about them. But let me know in the comments below. If you know him, would you take him? If you haven't heard of him, would you take him anyway because he's Brazilian? Get those thoughts in down below. And let's not forget why we are all here anyway, because there's a huge match tomorrow as Forest will host Aston Villa. So we will have the watch along for that tomorrow from like 1:45, 1:30, something like that. Make sure you're tuned in if you're not going. And if you're going, get that place rocking. We got 2 previews. You can watch this preview here if you haven't seen it already with our mate Luke from UTV podcast. We've also done a preview with him on his channel. So if you're looking for some Forest content, go check those out right now. And if you haven't already, hit that like button. Subscribe to Forest Fan TV if you are new. We'll see you for the watch along tomorrow. We're going to smash Villa, hopefully. Come on, you Reds.